You will not believe how early in her relationship with Harry that Meghan was already using the press against him. This wasn't just gossip, it was strategy. There's one headline I just found that really shows how Meghan manipulated the press in order to secure an invitation to Pippa's wedding. The article talks about how clearly Meghan needs hugs right now. It frames her as needy and fragile. This is not reporting. This is planting an image in your head. They even slip in a line that says Meghan has bagged herself an invitation to Pippa's wedding. That tiny sentence wasn't harmless. It set the stage. Suddenly, the public believed that she was already invited, which boxed Harry in. This is triangulation. Instead of asking Harry privately, the press became the third party, putting public pressure on him to bring her. If he said no, it wouldn't just be a private choice, it would look like a public snub. This is the kind of subtle manipulation we see in toxic relationships all the time, pulling in outsiders to do the pushing for you. And it worked. The whole narrative shifted without Meghan having to say a word. In this video, we are breaking down how that one planted headline changed the dynamics of their relationship and why recognizing triangulation can help you spot manipulation in your own life. But before we get into it, here's the intro.
Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe.
Somehow, this article popped up on my feed, but what really got my attention was this picture. Who walks like that? It looks so incredibly uncomfortable, and I just had to look into it. As I was reading the article, I realized how this was just another example of Meghan manipulating Harry and how this happened so early on in their relationship. The article we're going to talk about is titled Missing Harry. Meghan Markle turns to a friend for comfort as she's spotted for the first time since leaving London. It was published in February of 2017. Just to put the timeline in perspective, Harry and Meghan went public at the end of October in 2016. So at this point, she's been publicly known as his girlfriend for less than 6 months. Catherine's sister Pippa was getting married in May of 2017, so about 2.5 months after this article was published. So already you can see that the article is trying to pull at heartstrings. It's implying that Meghan is hugging her friend, who here is Jessica Mulroney, because she's just so heartbroken at being far away from Harry. You can imagine that this was also meant to pull at Harry's heartstrings. It's such a manipulation. Now, all of that I'm basing on the assumption that Meghan influenced this article, and I do believe that Meghan did influence this article. The article begins and says that she spent the last few weeks with Prince Harry at Kensington Palace, but Meghan clearly needs plenty of hugs now that she is away from him in Toronto. This is manipulation in action because they're implying that Meghan is needy and fragile, that she's emotionally dependent on Harry, and that just being away from him, she needs a support system in Toronto. This is designed to pull at not just our heartstrings, but Harry's as well. The article continues and it just gives a little bit of insight into who Meghan is. She's an American divorcee. It talks about what she's wearing. And then it says earlier this month, Meghan was spotted with Harry as the couple went for dinner at Soho House in London. The private members club is where Suits star Meghan and Harry met through a mutual friend last year. Apart from a handful of engagements overseas, they appeared inseparable from the end of 2016, jetting off to Norway after seeing the new year together in London. So this is planting the picture again that they're usually inseparable, and now that Meghan is in Toronto, she's just heartbroken and missing Harry. The article continues and says, and it's thought that the pair who have so far shied away from the limelight, I'm laughing because Meghan Meghan is the one that has been calling the paparazzi. So yeah, Harry shied away from the limelight, but Meghan has done her best to shine the light. Moving on. It says could make their first official appearance as a couple at Pippa Middleton's wedding. Prince William and wife Catherine will be there when her sister ties the knot, with hedge fund manager James Matthews on May 20, and it's thought Meghan has also bagged herself an invitation. This is the part of the article that I decided I needed to make a video here because in the beginning, you can't tell what the manipulation is for, but now you realize the manipulation is to secure an invitation to Pippa Middleton's wedding. From what I remember, sources had said that Pippa and her mom were in the book Finding Freedom by Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand, which was very, or put Meghan and Harry in a very positive light, more so Meghan than Harry. And in that book, it says that Pippa and her mom harbored concerns that Meghan's presence as Harry's girlfriend might overshadow the bride. And the same book says that Meghan's invitation was somewhat reluctant, and on the wedding day, it was agreed that she would not attend the church ceremony in order to avoid drawing too much media attention. So, of course, we have to consider the source that this was Omid Scobie's and Carolyn Durand's book where this was mentioned. And I think it shows that, at least in Meghan's mind, there was a question about her attending Pippa's wedding. What Meghan did here is a textbook narcissistic move. She used the press to box Harry in. By floating the wedding angle in advance, it made it awkward for him not to bring her. It framed Meghan as already part of the family's inner circle and turned her absence into a potential snub. This isn't gossip, this is a pressure tactic, one that leveraged public perception to push for a seat at the wedding. And this is an example of triangulation that Meghan used against Harry. Triangulation happens anytime a third party is pulled into a two-person issue to gain leverage. Normally, if Meghan wanted to attend Pippa's wedding, the conversation should have been between her and Harry. But instead of keeping it private, the story was leaked to the press. That move suddenly made it three ways: Harry, who now has to make a decision, Meghan, the one who wants the invite, and the media and the public, who are the audience that she has brought to pressure him in. By looping in the press, she turned what should have been a private choice into a public expectation. Now, Harry isn't just saying yes or no to his girlfriend, he's responding to a headline that suggests she's already invited. That shifts the power dynamic. If he says no, he risks embarrassing her publicly. In psychology, triangulation is often used by narcissists or manipulative partners because it outsources pressure. They don't have to argue directly or appear demanding. They let the third party, and in this case, the press and public opinion, do the pushing for them. So I wanted to give you a couple of examples where you might have also experienced this. You might have had a partner who complains about you to their friends instead of addressing it with you directly, hoping those friends will pressure you to change. Or it could be a friend who tries to make you jealous by constantly mentioning how much fun they're having with someone else. In family, it could be a parent who complains about you to a sibling and says something along the lines of, "Tell your sister she needs to call me more," rather than speaking to you themselves. And in the workplace, it could be a manager who criticizes your work to a coworker instead of to you, expecting the coworker to deliver the message. Let's close out this article. An inside source quoted by the Daily Star said Harry and Meghan are madly in love and he no longer wants to hide that from the world. Okay, this was a tidbit I hadn't noticed. When was he hiding that from the world? This is completely a contradiction to how it was very nice that they had 6 months before they went public and how nice that was to keep it public. This is just another example of how the grass is greener on the other side. Sometimes there are certain people that just can't be happy. No matter what their situation, they long for something else. The article continues and says he is close to Pippa and has been invited to her wedding and has obviously been given a +1. Harry is adamant that he wants to take Meghan with him. So here again is that assumption. Obviously, he's been given a +1. So now it kind of turns the tables from Pippa and her mom to, if Meghan doesn't go, it's Harry that didn't take her because Harry obviously had a +1. He could have taken her. And you can see again how triangulation is taking place here. Meghan isn't quoted at all, yet the source paints Harry as the one pushing for her inclusion. It makes Meghan look like a romantic partner just going along, while Harry is the one insisting. It shields her from appearing pushy, but still creates public pressure on the wedding hosts. This move hits three manipulation notes. The first is an appeal to emotion. by saying the words madly in love in order to win public sympathy. The second is that it shifts responsibility and it frames Harry as the driver and their social leverage. It makes refusal to include Meghan look unfair or unromantic. Let's close out this video with 3 signs that you are being triangulated. The first is you feel an invisible audience watching. A private decision suddenly feels public, like you're being judged if you say no. The pressure doesn't come directly from the person who wants it. Instead of asking you outright, they involve friends, family, coworkers, or even social media to push you. You're more worried about looking bad than about your own boundaries. You find yourself agreeing just to avoid embarrassment, guilt, or being painted as the bad guy. So I'm curious to know what you all think of this. Do you see how manipulative this article was and how early in their relationship that this was already happening? It's so wild to me. I actually started this channel because I wanted to know when exactly Meghan started manipulating Harry and when her mask slips and controlling physical behavior towards him started. Now I'm over 1 year deep in this channel, and it's evident that all of this started even before they physically met, in my opinion, and allegedly. If you have a story that you'd like to share and you feel comfortable doing it, please drop it in the comments. We're getting closer and closer to 50,000. Let me look at the count right now. I think I'm less than 500 away. Yep, I'm less than 500 away from 50,000. Thank you so much, everybody, for all your support. I appreciate every single one of you. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you're looking for a meaningful way to support something beyond the screen, I'd love for you to consider making a donation to the National Domestic Violence Hotline in lieu of super chats and super stickers. They provide 24/7 support and resources for people in unsafe or overwhelming situations, whether that's emotional, physical, or just hard to name. Their information is on the screen should you need to contact them, and you'll find the link to donate in the description of this video. Every little bit helps, and it means a lot. Thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.